Live from the studios of the WBCR radio station, you're listening to Beyond the Box Score.
My name is Oscar Del Cavo, and welcome back to the second Beyond the Box Score of this semester. To my left is my co-host, Sean. Sean, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good. We haven't even done this in a while. It's been a few weeks.
I know. It's been tough. It's been tough, guys. A lot of schedule issues and stuff have kind of made it so that.
But now we're finally getting back on track.
Do you mind turning my level down a little bit? My earphones
got you.
And who just came into your frame, our lovely audience, we've got Daniel.
Yo,
you might know him from our sister show, The Get Back, here on WBCR.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
We have a bit of a special day.
Actually, you've been on the show before, technically. It's just usually
yeah.
It's your voice on the phone, not
and
here
behind the camera
sometimes.
But
But this is great.
This is my beautiful face.
Exactly. There
it
we
ain't
go.
that great.
If you only watch Beyond the Box Score, then I mean, if you watch WBCR, they know what you look like.
Check out everything on WBCR.
If you don't know who he is, man, you're messing up. But anyways, so since we missed so much time, we're going to catch up a little bit on a few things we wanted to talk about. First and foremost, that would be probably a few things about the Super Bowl. We might touch on a few plays, a few things that happened in the game, but I think it's kind of done and dusted. I don't think we really need to talk too much about what happened during the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to talk about just the discourse that has emerged after the Super Bowl. And first and foremost, let's talk about the winners. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I guess I'll just start out front. I mean, if you're looking at, Mahomes' first years in the league and Brady's first few years in the league, there's no comparison. Mahomes is much better than Brady was at this point in their respective careers. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's interesting because I feel like now we've gotten to the point where the Kansas City Chiefs are officially a dynasty, and they have a damn good shot at repeating too. It just feels like, and me, you, and Max, Oscar have talked about this before on the show, like throughout the regular season, the Chiefs didn't look that good. They looked a little sluggish. Should they make some trades? What should they do? And when it mattered most, they got their mojo together come playoff time. They connected on everything, and they won it all yet again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Patrick Mahomes and his legacy, it's kind of crazy how we live in a generation where we've seen probably the two greatest winningest quarterbacks of all time in Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And, I mean, it's hard to argue with what the confidence that he has and where he's at in his career. Still only in his mid-20s, late 20s. He still has a fantastic team. He still has all of his weapons. Three-peat's not impossible, but I think when you look at the way this Chiefs season went, a lot of people were downing them. A lot of people were very suspect of the defense, which we'll get to, but I just look at this Patrick Mahomes team, and I look at him as a quarterback, and he's the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. There is no competition. It's Patrick Mahomes,
and
leaps and bounds, and the rest.
Yeah.
And I think this game proved that. I think this season proved that through all the hardship, they still won the championship. And I give a lot of credit to Mahomes and that offense and Andy Reid and his coaching ability during that game. But Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. He was the key difference in this game.
Yes and no.
Go ahead.
Yes and no. I think I myself wouldn't simplify it that much. I think the defense was tremendous. I think this the secondary played lights out. I thought that Spagnuolo made all the adjustments he needed to going into the second half, and you saw it as the game went on. This defense, they took away the run. They made it really hard for the Niners wide receivers to get open for big plays. I don't know. Shout out to. Let's see if Chris Jones comes back then, and they just get like a slightly better receiving core. They're definitely the favorites.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to think because the clock kept ticking. Patrick Mahomes was basically at midfield. I knew exactly what was going to happen. It's the same story with him every time. No matter how much trouble the Chiefs are in, Mahomes always finds a way. And I saw a stat in that first half. Kelsey had 1 target, 1 catch, 1 yard, and he came through in the end as well. And that Chiefs team just once again found a way to pull it all together.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Travis Kelce's still going to play football. I really thought that was him just summoning all of his last, strength to go out on top. Mm-hmm. But I guess he's going to run it back.
I mean,
I respect it.
it's hard to argue with winning, and I think they as long as Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, your window's open.
Yes.
Yeah, of
Right,
course.
so I think
Yes.
it doesn't matter who was on that team. They were probably still going to be a contender because Patrick Mahomes. I think Kelsey being there, and Noah Gray, the backup tight end, had a good year, a solid year for the days Kelsey went down, but he's another level of tight end, another weapon in that system, and plus they have that young receiving core, and Isaiah Pacheco that's still developing. That's a scary offense in a few years.
Yes.
So I think that what they've done in Kansas City is that they've constantly built on their success while developing their young talent and still winning, which is absolutely insane to say.
So question: who's a better like combo, Mahomes and Kelsey, or Brady and Gronk?
Well, for me, see, I was kind of going to transition into I was kind of going to ask the same thing, but or not really, but I was kind of going to talk about how I don't know, people were talking about what can Mahomes do to catch Brady, and I think it's very, very realistic that Mahomes finishes his career.
Yeah.
He's
27,
solidly
28? He's
Yeah.
still
yeah,
young.
Yeah, I think he's 28. So like
Yeah.
I think he
It's
could
about
finish
time.
his career as like the best ever. But
Yeah.
to me, I don't care, man. You could give Kelsey 100 more seasons. He's ain't never gonna be better than Gronk. To me personally, I just like watch the tape. That's just one of those things where it's like not really that complicated. It's just like
I feel like they're both great, but what Gronk brought to the Patriots, I'm not to say that it meant more, but I feel like he had a larger impact. than Kelsey
But I
did.
feel like they're two different tight ends, right?
Mhm.
Gronk was more of the first down machine, touchdown machine. He'll run a slant or a curl and he'll get 6 yards like that, and he'll always catch the ball. Kelsey's more of a over the middle threat and extending the play threat, and he could get yards after the catch. Gronk never really did that, so I think you're looking at two different tight ends. If you're looking at touchdowns, I think Gronk is far leaps and bounds better than Kelsey as a red zone threat.
Mhm.
And Kelsey's more like your one wide receiver. He's getting the yards, he's getting the touchdowns, and he's becoming more of a playmaker than Gronk was.
man, I don't know. Go back and watch the tape, man. Like Gronk. Like here's the thing. Here's one of the biggest things I'll say. This year we talked a lot about the Chiefs don't have a number one receiver. What are they going to do? They don't have a number one target. What are we going to? It turned out not to matter, but that's besides the point. All those years when Brady was just throwing to like a bunch of 5'11" white dudes who were like undrafted and stuff. No one ever talked about like where's his number one target because Gronk was always there.
Gronk was the number one target
Exactly.
every year.
And I don't know. I like and I guess Kelsey's not as good as he used to be. He's older. I'm not going to fault him for that, but I didn't hear anyone really talk about Kelsey in the same way this season.
Well, they had Tyreek Hill. They had
Oh no, but I'm talking about like right now.
yeah, right now I agree with you.
Yeah.
Right now, when Kelsey was younger, that he had other weapons
Mhm.
that Mahomes could throw to, and Alex Smith could throw to the other quarterback. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Gronk and the Kelsey debate is that Gronk probably has the longevity over Kelsey. I'll play the other way around. Kelsey
Yeah.
probably has the longevity over Gronk. But I think when you look at impact and you look at who meant more to their team, it has to be Gronk.
Yeah.
It just has to, because Julian Edelman, good receiver.
Yeah, no,
Good
yeah.
receiver.
You
Gronk-
played with some great players, but yeah. like you said.
I think Rashid Rice is better than Julian Edelman right now, and I mean that seriously.
Wow,
Really?
That's a hot
Really?
take. I don't know about that. That's pretty.
The
great.
routes that he runs and his flexibility as a receiver and the way he's going to grow into a receiver, Edelman couldn't touch what he's doing.
Damn. Okay.
I don't know about
that's
that.
pretty nuts. Yeah, I don't know if I agree, but I respect the
But-
hot take.
It's just because I feel like Julian Edelman was so like
He was great,
he
man.
was great, and I feel like he's mattered more and done more than what Rashid Rice has done. But that's just my opinion.
I'm saying right now, and as we go on, Rashid Rice is going to be probably one of the most premier weapons in the NFL.
Really? I don't know. I think as soon as they get a better chance, Mahomes is like, "See you later, buddy. Have fun in Canada." Like like I don't know. There are times where he looked
the
like
Chiefs offense needs to get to that point for Rashid Rice to really be a weapon.
And like he was
That's
a
the
rookie,
thing.
but he's a rookie, and he won a Super Bowl as a rookie, and he was the number one wide receiver threat. He was running go routes, and he was still learning the offense, and he has Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback.
Yeah, let's see. You're right. He's only a rookie. I definitely think he has a lot more upside than like MVS or Tony or someone like
Mhm.
that.
Oh,
you know?
Kadarius Toney's
Kadarius.
yeah, that's a nutcase, but
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I guess moving on. I don't know. Do we have any more? Any else? Also, legacy. How do you guys feel about Andy Reid's legacy?
Oh, I mean,
3 Super Bowls, man.
you have to look, because it's interesting, right? Because Reid, before the 3 Super Bowls, before Kansas City, even when he started in Kansas City, he was always known as a guy who could maybe get to the big game but never win it. Right? He's always the bridesman, never the groom, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
The groom's never whatever. But I think when you look at it now, he's developed as a coach. He's put his work in, and he understands the game. And I just love him because he's a coach. He's not a coordinator. He's not a schemer. He's a guy who lives and breathes the football game. He understands the rules. He understands the scenarios in the game, and he's managing it. That's what a coach is supposed to do. And I'm not taking away from Shanahan, because Shanahan's a good coach too. But when you look at the two of them, Shanahan in that game did not manage it the same way that Andy Reid did. In every aspect of that game, Andy Reid outcoached Kyle Shanahan. So I think legacy-wise, he has to go down as one of the greatest Super Bowl winning coaches in the Super Bowl itself.
Yes, because I don't think he'll ever be considered in the GOAT conversation.
No.
But what Andy Reid does bring you is someone that when it matters most, he knows what he's doing. And you pointed out to Kyle Shanahan, I feel like that fourth quarter and overtime were really mismanaged by that entire Niners team. I thought they had a fantastic first half. I thought they were great in the first half. And then you could just see as the game was starting to get closer, Kyle Shanahan wasn't drawing up plays that were successful.
Wait, are we going into Niners talk now?
We can go to the Niners.
We're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
into Niners
yeah.
talk? All right, transition to Niners talk.
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy.
I mean,
Brock Purdy.
I think
The guy. Look, here's the thing.
Sean's guy.
Because I know Sean's opinion of it. I know your opinion of it. I think Brock Purdy is the most luckiest quarterback in the NFL. Is probably the best way I can put it. Because the guy just has a juggernaut. An absolute juggernaut. He's got everything on a silver platter. He has the second best tight end in football in George Kittle. Screw that guy for making me lose all my bets. But, again, and he didn't use it in the game. And they still lost the game. They had all these weapons, and Brock Purdy's supposed to be the reason why they're going to go over the top. He has all this talent. He could be a mobile quarterback. He had a good game. I'm not saying he had a terrible game.
Mm-hmm.
Was it enough to win a Super Bowl? Obviously not. But if that is Brock Purdy's best, at the best game of his career, at the highest level of his career, they're not winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ever.
I agree, Daniel. I think that I don't know. I don't think he had a bad game at all. I think he was
I
fine, but
I
you're
think
going
he
to
had a good
see
game, but he was solid. Let's
he
leave it
was
at that.
okay. He was okay. I don't know. We're always a lot of people are ready to heap praise on him for doing pretty average job. He was fine, but you saw the limitations of having a quarterback like that. You know, he's not in this new era that we have that we're living in right now. Because we went through since Aaron Rodgers was drafted, basically until Patrick Mahomes' draft, we went through a very, very dark time for really super.
Lawrence. You can name them.
Even Jordan Love,
Jordan,
you know.
You can name them off the top of your head. I didn't even think of them just now.
Yeah, these are
Is Brock Purdy?
Herbert.
I'll tell you right now.
All right.
Out of all the quarterbacks in the playoffs that were in this playoffs, where does Brock Purdy rank?
Oh God! Now you're making me think way back.
All of the playoff teams.
Out of all the playoff teams, out of every team that was in the playoffs this year, AFC and NFC, where does Brock Purdy rank in terms of quarterbacks on his team?
He's not very high.
Exactly.
He's not very high.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. Here's another point. Forget just the playoffs. Okay.
Is he better than Lamar?
No, obviously not.
Okay.
Lamar's
Is he better than Allen?
No.
Is he better than Joe Flacco?
Yes.
Is he better than C.J. Stroud?
No.
There's your level. In between Stroud and Flacco.
Is he better than Baker Mayfield?
In terms of what
'Cause-
Baker did this year,
Okay.
compared to him with that offense that Baker had in that division,
Baker would play well for Shanahan. Lots of play action. And
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. I don't know. In any case, he's definitely probably the last three. It was when it came to NFC championship or divisional rounds, it was I think the comfortable last three were Baker, Goff, and Purdy.
Here's what I'll say with Purdy. Of all the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks, I have him 12 to 15.
that's crazy.
That-
That's crazy.
Hold on.
That is crazy.
Hold on. Oh.
That is crazy. That is insane. Go ahead.
How?
Go ahead.
How?
Go ahead.
How?
Go ahead.
How?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's better
Go
than
ahead. Go
He's
ahead.
not that mad
Okay,
at that. I
he's
mean,
better. He's better than like 10 quarterbacks I could name.
I
right.
agree.
I would
Okay.
have him.
I agree.
I would have him kind of like a little bit different to Sean.
Mhm.
I'd give my thing goes a bit in the opposite direction. I'd have him like 15 to like 18. So like kind of opposite.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So my
I don't
point is
think he's terrible. I don't think he's
my
terrible.
point is he's in the top half of the league of quarterbacks. He's right at that like border.
Yeah. Well, I'm not incredibly mad at that. I mean, look. Lots of QBs look really good with all those toys and the Shanahan offense, but like, I'm not really in the business of shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm not really interested in like, let's just have a hypothetical. What would he look like on other teams? The thing is, just my point that I was trying to make is, you're just not going to win with that guy, unfortunately. And I'm not like, I think Brock Purdy's better than I ever thought he'd be, and I definitely disagree with anyone who would call him the game manager, because the game manager is a mentality. It's not about skill set, it's about mentality.
every quarterback is a game manager.
Not true.
No, not at all.
Hold
Not
on.
true.
true.
Not at all.
Oh.
No, not true.
Hold on.
Zach Wilson's game manager.
He didn't do a very good job at it.
No, he's not. And Brock Purdy's not a great game manager either. That man, he doesn't want a game manager. To me, like when you hear Oscar define it, or when you hear me say it, I'm saying like I think of like Jared Goff. He's going to be the king of the short range and mid range game. Lots of quick things to your tight end, lots of quick things to your running back. Worse, he will do that, and that's why I don't think he's a game manager. Zach Wilson, he doesn't have the physical tools to be the gunslinger he thinks he is, but that is not a game manager.
Zach Wilson doesn't have anything. Okay, let's be straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you this for a while.
Doesn't have anything, dude. And I was a Jet fan believing false hope. All right, let's be real. That's what this all was here. But no, I think the fundamental question is: do you believe Brock Purdy will take the ball with 2 minutes down by 3, and at least get a tie game?
He did better than that against the Packers.
I don't know if I'd like bet on him to do it, but I know that he would try, and I appreciate that.
I have trust in him more than I have trust in other guys. Daniel, hold on.
Wait. One more thing.
Go ahead.
Do you think now that, because now we're agreeing that he might be able to get a field goal, does
Okay.
he lead them into the end zone?
I mean, that's it's based on the context,
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, he has the mentality to do it. I don't know if he'll always have the
He
skill.
had a whole quarter of football, half of a quarter of football, to drive that 49ers team into the Super Bowl down the field and get a touchdown.
Well,
And they kicked the field goal.
But here's the thing, I'm more in the like. I think that he deserves some criticism, but I don't know. I don't think you can like. It's not as if every guy was getting open and they were moving down the field and he threw a terrible pick in the end zone. Then it would be more so his fault. I think that I think that Spagnuolo really adjusted in that second half, and Shanahan didn't.
Mhm.
And I think that the Chiefs' defense really successfully took the Niners' run. I didn't get that the wrong way. The Chiefs took the Niners' run game out of the game.
I do think this loss is more on Kyle Shanahan than it is on any individual player. That I'll say, because McCaffrey was, as always, fantastic.
That fumble.
Okay.
That was fantastic.
I'll
That
give
might
you
have
that.
cost them the game.
No, special team cost him the game.
But you can't say that, because that was like with 7 minutes left in the first quarter.
I mean,
Yeah.
Special team
But,
cost them the game because guess what? They missed the field goal, and they muffed the punt, and that was
Yes.
that was the difference.
No, the muff punt was, I feel like, what turned that game around.
They missed the field goal that would have made it 24-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that forces the Kansas City team to drive all the way down the field, or whatever the score was at the time. They have to force them down the field, right?
Yes.
If you kick that field goal, you limit the field goal to a touchdown.
Yeah.
And guess
And-
what? They probably don't go to overtime.
I also I don't know. I think I'm not as harsh on the Niners as you guys are, because I don't know. Maybe this isn't a fair way to look at it. Maybe I should give them more criticism, but I feel like they were just fighting against destiny, man. Like Mahomes, man, he went into Josh Allen's house, took his cookies. Went to Lamar Jackson's house, took his cookies. Like you weren't going to stop that team.
That Bills loss was so heartbreaking. It just in every way possible.
Yeah.
It's just
Sure.
The Bills in general, I just feel like they're just stuck. I don't know. They're not winning they'll never win the AFC in the next few years. They'll never take that next step to become better. They'll never beat the Chiefs. They'll probably never beat the Ravens in the playoff game.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, we'll see about that. Well, we done with Niners talk, or
I think
anything
so.
you want to say?
Move on to All-Star.
Yeah. Sure. Well, anything. How much time we got?
We got like 20 minutes.
Do you guys maybe want to do like? Is there anything you want to say about the NFL offseason? You kind of talked about the Bills real quick. Anything you're looking forward to seeing unfold? Anything?
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
If he,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that's gonna be too exciting.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna stay.
yeah.
Cause I don't know. I mean,
You know what it is?
cause look,
Go ahead.
even if he's not at the level he was like 2 years ago, Stephon Diggs doesn't, like, a player like that doesn't grow on a tree, you know? And, like, they have a cap situation, so it's not like you can just go sign any guy off the street, you know?
Yeah.
If I was them, I'd try and fix whatever might be wrong. And, you know, because at the end of the day, man, he's still a Pro Bowl level wide receiver.
I think here's my thing, right? I think, like, obviously we're going through football withdrawals, right? Like, this is how it's going to be the whole off season. We're just going to have to find a way to... There's going to be a lot of just junk stories going out right now that everybody's going to latch on to.
Yes.
We'll probably talk about them on WBCR.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
But
We'll buy into it, yeah.
But Stephon Diggs leaving the Bills after Buffalo's window was nowhere close. They're still probably the top team in the AFC East on paper.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean...
I think so.
Like, no. Like, the idea that the Buffalo Bills might be rebuilding is insanity.
No, not rebuilding, but
You
there's
trade Stephon Diggs, you're rebuilding. Who's left on that team? Josh Allen with nobody?
James Cook.
James.
Oh, good
God,
God.
God almighty.
Lord have mercy.
The
the-
guy that ruins fantasy for everyone.
Hey, you lost, bro. It's not my problem.
Oh, sorry.
Is there anything else with football? you guys
I guess the
want?
only thing I'll say about football, since like there's not too much interesting discourse right now, I'm interested with some of the coaching carousel stuff. I wonder if maybe this is the end of Belichick, or if we see him go somewhere. And I really want to see where Mike Evans signs. I'm interested. In
Yeah,
that.
he's not.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean, maybe if it depends on what his prerogative is. If he just wants to maybe get a big fat contract, say, hey, I already got the ring, I already got a bunch of Pro Bowls, I don't really care, then maybe he does stay.
Sneaky Houston Texan shout?
I saw a lot of people making that would be. I mean,
Yeah.
him and C.J. Stroud. I'd love to see that. That would be insane.
I think Houston's going to have a very interesting offseason because they have a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
And they have a very talented quarterback
Oh,
on a rookie contract.
And if you put talented running backs and wide receivers around them, that team's potential, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That roster, other than like Tunsil and Tank actually turned out to be really good. Which, I'm sorry, still a really inappropriate name for a wide receiver, but I'm not that mad. He's a great player. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like Tank is not named for that's like the name of a running back or like a linebacker or something. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm not mad at it.
Megatron was a wide receiver.
True, but I don't know. Tank is compact and kind of short. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like built, but not.
He's like tall
Yeah.
and like when I think of Tank, I think of like the engine of war.
Yeah.
You know, I think of like small and like but really sturdy. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Should we talk about the All-Star weekend, All-Star break?
Yeah,
So
and that hot garbage.
yeah, well,
Yes.
see, interested. So do you guys want to spend the majority of the time talking about the dilemma that is All-Star weekend in general, or do you want to talk about this specific weekend? We can do a little bit of both.
We could start with all right. Let's start with the problems with the All-Star game specifically and in general.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So.
Take the mantle, Sean.
Yeah.
All right.
You got some thoughts, I know.
This All-Star game was absolute garbage. In every way possible. I watched 6 minutes of that first quarter, and it's just guys running up, chucking threes, where everything's a layup line. No effort, no defense. I get it's an exhibition game, but who's going to care to watch? And they want to draw in the casual fan that doesn't watch the NBA every night like me or Daniel do. But they're not going to draw it in like that because nobody cares. And I saw someone say, like, oh, Lillard won the game MVP or whatever. Oh, maybe this will get Lillard going for the Milwaukee Bucks or whatever. No, it's not. The guy's a professional basketball player taking open shots. He's going to hit all of them. And it's just like, I just don't see the point of the All-Star weekend anymore if they don't care, if they don't try. Honestly, get rid of it altogether. Give the guys a week off, and then they come back for the second half of the season.
Let's be real. It was a layup line. Now, if I
Yes.
wanted to see a layup line, I would have got to the game 2 hours earlier.
Yeah.
That's basically what the All-Star game is. It's a practice session. Okay.
The only consistent part about the All-Star game of the weekend, and the best part is probably the 3-point contest, because you know what you're getting out of that. It's fun, it's entertaining when the scores get close. But other than that,
Because you know why? It's competition.
yes.
I want to see competition. I don't want to see me not guarding somebody as open layup, 2 points. Oh well. I don't want to see that. I want to see guys jamming it in there and going at each other. I want to see jawing. I want to see some pride on the court. What the hell was that? You have no pride of giving up 200 points?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Oh, wow! And you saw Adam Silver when he gave the award to Damian Lillard. He's like, "You guys scored 211 points, the most in All-Star history," and he seemed so pissed about it because he's had a big press conference about how the All-Star game is going to change.
Yo,
it's going to be better.
If I'm LeBron, I'm going in that locker room. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
That's embarrassing.
LeBron showed up to Indiana Sunday morning, like 2 hours before the game.
It's embarrassing, and the fact that
You
they don't feel embarrassed, that's a problem. The fact that they don't care is a problem. That's the player issue. That's what that is.
Because we're in the player empowerment era. Yeah, here you go. You want all your players to have say in everything? Great. This is what you get.
I totally disagree with that. I think that's kind of hogwash. I'm gonna say it.
No, not to that degree, but
Well, I know.
Go ahead.
I totally one. Me personally, I don't know. I agree with the last part of Sean's first statement, which, and I like basketball, and I say this for every sport, even though basketball is my favorite sport. Who cares about All-Star games, man? Like I always, like, all the people who complain, like I want like
it's all
them to
bad.
like I want good All-Star games again. I'm like, what do you mean again? I'm like, tell me your favorite All-Star game memory. The only one that people our age can. There's one. There's the game where Magic Johnson came back when everyone was like, oh, he has HIV, he can't play anymore, and he proved that he could. That was awesome. And two, that didn't happen when we were alive. No one our age remembers that. The only thing I can think of that happened in my lifetime that was cool at the All-Star game was the Kobe versus LeBron thing. Other than that, you can't find me anything unless you nitpick. Or unless you just watch like every minute of basketball possible.
And it sucks to say, but the last good All-Star game was the one that in 2020 after Kobe died, and they did the whole 24 points thing for the total score. That was cool because they all cared. They all tried in memory to him. But other than that, it's like,
well, I just don't really care about All-Star games. Like, and you gotta understand, All-Star games were like they're invented for two reasons.
The dunk contest is a whole other thing. Well, go ahead.
One, because back in the day, for most fans of any sport, especially MLB, because the American League and National League didn't play each other. If you just say, for example, you were a New Yorker, you lived in New York. Well, New Yorkers were more spoiled than most sports fans, but like, if you are a basketball fan in New York, the only game you could see on cable or hear on the radio was the Knicks. So the All-Star game was your chance to turn on the TV and see all the best players in the league, which you wouldn't get to see until playoff time usually. Mm-hmm. And now obviously it's different. We have the internet and stuff, so it doesn't really mean that much to the fans, in my opinion. And then I don't know. It's not really everyone says it's a celebration of basketball. It's not. It's the NBA trying to, like, I don't know. I blame much more like the corporate sponsors behind this. Like they're just trying to make a Met Gala themed. They're trying to make an NBA themed Met Gala, and that no one cares. Like they're just trying to invite all the celebrities, make tickets as expensive as possible. And I don't know. I just think the whole thing is just really unnecessary.
Well, I think it's less become about the game and more about the event.
Yeah, that's
right. But that is the issue. You're right, and I think the reason why we care about it is because it is the one time where the best of the best supposedly play each other. Right. Mm-hmm. It's the one time in history, and every day for 1 year, it's the best in every league competes against each other, or supposed to. Right. That's the general concept. That's a great concept because that could sell itself, but that no longer sells itself. Now it's the 3-point contest, the weekend, the skills competition, the celebrities, the smoke, the pyros, all of that. It's less become about the game and more about the pre-game and post-game. And but if you're going to have an all-star game and name it the game, you got to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That has to be your main attraction, and it's not your main attraction anymore.
Yeah, sorry.
I just don't understand the appeal of it anymore. Even if you don't watch the NBA, it's like you just watch these guys, not even that, like they're not even caring at all. And I saw someone say like, oh, maybe they could do a U.S. against the world type of game.
Nah,
why?
The Cold War ended. That doesn't really hit the same anymore. I'm serious. That was why people liked those games so much, because there was like you know.
I know I didn't see USSR versus the Montreal Canadiens, but that hockey game was absolutely insane. That was a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
You gotta watch that game.
Yeah, no,
But-
legendary.
Legendary, but no. Go ahead, keep going, Sean.
No, I was just gonna say, like, with the All-Star game, it's like, oh, if you do the world against the USA, cool. You know who's gonna play for the world? Jokic and Luka, guys who are taking 80-foot jumpers, just chucking it full court, not even caring.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't. No one cares anymore. Just get rid
Well,
of it.
let's,
That's the thing.
Let's yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with John. I just don't really think it should be a thing, but it will
Unless
be
you,
because
unless
commercials.
unless you actually want to put stakes on the line.
So I don't know. Let's.
Unless players are actually playing for something.
How about we kind of let's talk about? Let's just go around, you know, the group and say what would you do if you can't abolish it, you can't
Okay.
get rid of it. What would you do to fix it?
I would do some sort of tournament with at least some sort of seeding implication, not playoff implication specifically,
Mm.
but something with seeding, just so that they have something to play for the rest of the season, not just some all-star game that is just basically something you see at a park.
Okay, I like that. You got anything you want to add?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Dan, you want to go next?
So
Or you drinking your bev?
I got Bev. Look, man, it's been a long day. Here's how I see it, right? There's 3 levels of basketball, right? There's organization basketball, which is what the NBA is. There's structure basketball, which is what college is. And then there's street ball, okay? And we all grew up with street ball. That's where our love for basketball came. That's what we all played growing up. That's what we all do, right? Just you and your friends at the park shooting the rock, passing it around, right? Let's capture that, which is pure 3-on-3 street ball mentality. Mano a mano, I guard you, you guard me, east, right? So you have 4 teams divided by 4, right? So it's basically 4-on-4, but 3 on the court with 1 sub rotating. So this way you have like kind of like a mini tournament where it's like, here are the starters from like the top 4 teams in the league and so on, so whatever that looks like.
Or the 3 best players from each
It's the
team.
3 best players, not from each team, but like overall, it could be like a draft too, with like there's 4 captains in each draft, a player to get on their team. Kind of going back to that street ball mentality and going back to that fun at the schoolyard.
Yeah.
You have to make it different, and you have to make it. It can't look like an NBA game. It has to look like
'Cause-
something special.
'cause-
If that's what the All-Star game is, it's something special. It needs to be special. It can't be a regular game.
Because they used to do the captains, Team Giannis, Team LeBron. Now they went back to the East and West this year, and it's still the same game.
Right, because it's a 5-on-5 NBA game.
Yeah, it's still
If you can, because this is what the NHL does, right? They do a 3-on-3 tournament
Right.
by division,
right.
right? And that's fun because we don't see 3-on-3 all the time. We see 5-on-5. We see structured hockey. This is straight up on the pond where we're shooting the puck at whatever moves. 3-on-3, I hit you, you hit me.
Yeah, they do tournaments for the skills challenge during the All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
You could do it like a mini tournament during the All-Star game. You maybe have the game be like 10, 12 minutes. You rotate teams in and out, but it has to just be. Maybe that's not all a great idea, but it just has to be something different than a regular NBA game.
I think rather than making it about NBA basketball, I think we should make it about basketball in general. I think it should be about a celebration of the sport. Like, for example, the young players game, I'd say like any player in the world who's good enough, who's under 21 is eligible. So like bring in some of these guys from Europe, like, you know, let them show their stuff against like some of the good college, maybe high school players. Now basketball's big in Africa. Bring some of those guys out here, let them get some exposure. Maybe they could get scholarships to go D1 and stuff, that would like change people's lives.
It'd be like a mini combine.
Exactly, something my favorite part of the weekends of last weekend. I didn't watch all of it. I'll be real. Most of it, I just looked at clips on YouTube.
Neither did I.
Yeah. I looked at clips on YouTube and I was like, whatever interested me, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I like the 3-point contest. I thought that was dope. Let's see, kind of like that's some street ball stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just have a shooting contest or.
Let's just have a shootout. Whoever has the most wins.
Yeah, and I'd say open it. Maybe it doesn't have to only be NBA players. It could be college players, WNBA players, whoever.
And hey, that Steph and Sabrina thing was cool too.
Yeah, that was
it's
awesome.
something different.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant, man.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, outside of Kenny Smith, that thing was fun. It's something different.
If Caitlin Clark's in that, she's lighting everybody up.
Yeah, she's a monster.
She's lighting If Caitlin Clark
She's
is in that 3-point contest, she's lighting everybody up. She's gonna be a problem in the WNBA.
Yeah, not.
All right. Do you guys want to talk about Doc Rivers?
Yeah, we can.
Because this guy's on the
Off, man.
the doc is in.
this guy's on a media tour.
The doc is out, dog. You went for lunch.
Bro, Doc Rivers has been out to lunch for the past since that Celtics championship. All right, so this guy's going on the media tour talking about he got hired by the Bucks right after they fired Bud and then they fired Adrian Griffin. All Giannis's fault. We'll get to that, but Doc is going on this whole media tour about how the Bucks are 3-7 with him as coach, and he's saying all this stuff about how he told Bucks management to hire him after the All-Star break so that they could ease him in instead of just throwing him right in the middle of games. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I get it. You're not a good coach, but you don't understand that. You think you're the way he coaches. He thinks it's a successful basketball. He latches onto that Celtics 08 championship more than I do.
I've never seen I don't know any coach in any sport really hold on to one championship as men. Like still really, it's over 20. Oh no, not over 20 years. Like 15 years later, and he's still getting jobs because of that.
Like you blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, which is still laughed about to this day. You have no schemes, no play calls to make the team any better. And going back to Giannis, why did they fire Bud in the first place? I get it. They got embarrassed against the Heat in the first round of the playoffs. Cool. Great. And then they hire Adrian Griffin, embarrass him. The guy had like a 30-13 record. Cool. Yeah, let's get rid of our coach. And now what we do, instead of Giannis wanting to hire Nick Nurse, who he refused to hire, who's actually a championship coach, he hires Doc Rivers, the laughingstock of what an NBA coach is.
The doc is in.
I don't get it. I mean, here's do you want to go first, Dan? Because I got a few thoughts on this.
Okay. Here's my thing with Doc is that there's only so much you can keep. Like when you get put to the TV booth, I think it's time to hang it up.
Yeah.
I think it's time to say, you know what? I got my ring somehow, some way. I got it.
Because I was blessed with the talented
the best team in the
right. And it's like okay, I've had my moments, I've had my chances, I've had some success. He's a good regular season coach. He wouldn't be in the playoffs if he wasn't, but he never won the big game. You just got to call it at some point. At some point, you got to realize, damn, the game isn't the same anymore, and I'm outdated. And when you refuse that, you get embarrassed. And what's happening right now is they're getting embarrassed.
And the Bucks can't get rid of him because if they fire him, they're gonna have they already have Bud and Adrian Griffin on their payroll. They have 3 coaches that they fired on their payroll. That's not a good look. And this is a team that's perceived, depending on who you ask, to either to be the best team or the second best team in the East.
Well,
and they're not playing like it at all.
I think Giannis wanted to, the same year. That's not a great look for Giannis or the Bucks.
No.
So you can't LeBron it. Oh, I want Dame here. Okay, you get Dame here. I want Adrian Griffin here. Okay, Adrian Griffin's here. And then what? You have no defense, no shooting, no scoring.
No defense. Speaking of, Jrue Holiday went to the team
that's what I'm saying.
Is their rival team in the same conference.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like, I respect Dame, and honestly, from the Bucks standpoint, when they traded for Dame, I understood it. I was like, you know what? As great of a player as Jrue Holiday is, it's Dame. You know.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's Dame. You trade for Dame and you get the chance, especially with pairing him with the guy Giannis. But it hasn't worked. Where's the Dame Giannis pick and roll that can definitely be deadly with either Giannis is driving straight to the basket or Dame is getting wide open jump shots?
Right.
Where is that? Where's this defense that was so great last season that's down in like the 20s?
It just
compared
seems
to other
like
teams?
it just seems like they're overcomplicating everything.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I don't understand. I mean, they're clearly trying to do a lot to keep Giannis, which like up to a certain extent, which to that extent they have passed. You kind of have to do. He's like the best player you've had since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for the Bucks. It's not going to get better. But yeah, you can't just keep letting him just make all the shots. Also, I don't know. I didn't know we were going to talk about this today, so I didn't do a ton of research on it. But I don't know how much of this is confirmed and how much is speculation. The one thing I do know that is confirmed is, to me, this is the front office is bugging more than anything else. Because, bro, Doc Rivers was not retired as a coach, and you hired him as a consultant. What the heck is he gonna do? Bro, that's I don't know, man. If I don't know, if Sydney Sweeney came to me and was like, hey, you're not licensed in any way. Do you want to be like my marriage or like relationship counsel? I'd be like, yeah,
Yes.
sure. You know what my advice is? You should break up with him and get with me. Like, you know, that's real talk. That's like what it is. It's
That's
like,
a good deal right
I mean,
there.
I don't know what NBA consultants really doing. Front offices hire them, but I know Doc wasn't doing that.
Well, it's very. I mean, but it's very clear. What was his advice going to be? It was going to be fire the coach and put me in. I can do a better job. Give me the coach's money. Like that's clearly what he was going to advise you.
It also seems like Doc isn't really like invested in this team.
No, yeah,
Like,
no,
he's-
I agree.
Like
but
I don't know, he just seems completely distant from like what this team is. Because I was watching their last loss before the All-Star break. It was the loss to the Grizzlies, which was absolutely pathetic. But just the way the Bucks are playing just seems so isolated. No one knew what anyone was doing on the court. Brooke wanted to do one thing. Dame wanted to do one thing. Giannis was just in his own world. Giannis's dumb brother was just clapping on the bench for no reason. So I mean, this team is just a mess. It's a disaster from front office to the team. Honestly, the team roster sucks too. They have no bench whatsoever.
You cannot win when you change your coach mid-season. You
Yeah.
know who does that? Teams who
it's
want to
very
tank and
rarely.
unresearched, I would say never.
Yeah.
I think a team probably made the playoffs. But
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely made the playoffs.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. That's tough. Winning a chip.
Winning
I'm
it.
not
I wonder
sure.
if that's ever happened before.
And I love how this is all happening for the Bucks, and simultaneously the Celtics are killing it. The Knicks made big trades; they're good. The Cavs are absolutely on a rampage run right now. They're killing it too. And it's like all these teams are passing you, and you're just stuck. And I get it; they have Giannis. Giannis could get them to playoff series. Giannis is probably the second best player in the world, but this team is just not good around him, and it is a large part his fault.
yeah,
I think there's no one solution to quote unquote fix the Bucks, but
It was one. It was David Blatt for the Cavaliers in 2016.
Oh, right. Yeah, damn.
Replaced with
yeah.
Tyronn Lue, I believe.
Oh yeah, he got fired in the middle of the season, and they
in
brought
January,
Tyronn Lue.
yeah.
Yeah.
and the 3-1 comeback.
Yes. Yes.
So there was one instance.
Yeah.
Yes.
it was LeBron.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you had-
yeah, it was
It
LeBron.
was
Still
LeBron.
happened.
It
Still
was
happened.
LeBron.
Legion.
But no, I don't think there's one. There is no solid solution to fix the Bucks this year, and I think if you're the Bucks and the front office and the fans, you gotta eat it and you gotta see what you can get, because at this point you can't fire him like you said, Sean, and you can't really do anything about it.
Mhm.
So let's just see what he does, and if we get to the end of the season and we miraculously make the playoffs
Yo, you know, it'd be so funny if they blew a 3-1 lead.
again.
That'd be hilarious.
if they blew a 3-1 lead
Well,
in like
he's
the
gonna
second
run-
round, it's like the
Dude,
Cavs.
he's running Giannis into the ground after every playoff game. Giannis is going to play
Oh,
48 minutes every
Giannis.
playoff game.
I mean, Jalen Brunson be doing the same thing with Tibbs.
But here's the thing. Tibbs has been doing that throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he does. He conditions these guys now. He has them playing major minutes now. With Doc Rivers, it's like, oh, you're my star. Gotta rest you. Brunson's like, nah, dude, let's go. 40 minutes. He buys it. He buys into that.
Yeah.
The team buys into what Thibodeau wants to do. There's no buying with Doc Rivers in that
No.
team.
You think
That's
Doc
the issue.
Rivers is gonna just collectively talk to his locker room to get them all on the same page? No.
No.
All right, let's.
You guys think the Knicks are contenders?
He does. I know how this goes. They're gonna break my heart. I know. Don't worry about it. When the time comes, when we're down 3-1 and there's no hope, I will be here. In the absolute loser mentality that I have, because all my teams are losers. I know how this works. There is no positive here. You have to understand this with me. There's no positive. Even when we're good, we're bad. I see the bad in this team, and I'm not ready to say we're there yet.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to wrap this up and then we'll do your show?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Stick around, guys.
Yeah.
This is more of us.
Back to back.
Another
Yeah.
hour.
If you're listening live on WBCI, don't change the dial. You're gonna hear us again in like a few
In a
minutes.
few minutes, we're gonna do a quick little music break. We'll be back here probably around 4:05.